What is up YouTube, Nyks here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be starting off the series that I mentioned earlier, and that is the State of Bliss Online. So in this series, I'm just going to be going into the game every now and then and giving you guys my opinions on it, the things that have changed, just letting you guys know what's going on inside the game. So currently, I'm in game right now, and as you can see, this is the Herion faction in Bliss. So currently we are in patch 1.2 as of recording this video. Patch 1.3 is slated to be dropped on July 4th, which will introduce quite a lot of new things into the game. But yeah, so I've been playing around for a minute. I'll just let you guys know what I think. Okay, so let's start off with the optimization. As you can see, I have a little frame rate counter up there. I'll run around for a minute. Let's see, I'll get into the main area where you can... And as you can see, the UI lag is still there, so let me summon this guy. Alright. Also keep in mind, I'm not running any INI file tweaks. This is just the base game raw. And as you can see, there aren't a lot of people here, but you know, we're dropping FPS regardless. I'll move around as I talk, just so you guys get a feel of the FPS and this is the performance. From what I've seen running around before I started recording, it has not really changed much. One thing that has changed, however, when it comes to the optimization, which kind of hints towards them actually fixing the performance issues of the game, is the fact that you cannot now have the in-game frame rate counter. So usually, well, before this patch, if you just went / stat FPS, you would have a FPS meter right about here, which would tell you your frame rate as well as your input latency, I think. So they've removed that, so maybe, and this is like a pretty big maybe, they actually might be working on some sort of fix on the performance of the game. In the Japanese client, when I was playing, the FPS was much better than it is here, even with more people on screen, though there weren't many, but during peak times there were definitely quite a few more people than there are on this server. Alright, so now we've got the big one out of the way, let's get into the nitty-gritty of things. And we'll start that off with going over some class balances and just game balance in general. I wasn't able to test out the PvP, unfortunately, but I did encounter some people from the other faction when I was questing, and as it stands, I could kill a paladin. That to me is a very good sign. Paladins beforehand were really overpowered. They could kill you in an instant if they wanted to, and they can out-heal any damage that they took. So they've fixed that. You can finally actually kill paladins. And in terms of just the ranger class, because that's what I'm playing, they've reduced quite a lot of cooldowns. So as you can see here, we have root trap, or just trap. So if I place this down, this used to be on a 45-second cooldown before the patch. Now it's only on like a 13-second cooldown, and I think these things stay there forever. You can just have as many as you want up for as long as you want. So they've changed this. Your dodge even, I think, has a lower cooldown. All of that does seem to help quite a lot with just the combat in general. And nerve wreck is another skill that's a key part of your rotation, which was previously on a pretty big cooldown. Now it's only 10 seconds, so obviously it helps out quite a bit when you have low cooldown skills, so you know you can continue your chains and continue to deal quite a lot of damage. Now in terms of performance, when you're out of town, it seems fine. When you're in dungeons, it also seems fine. It's only when you encounter more than, I would say, 10-20 players on the screen at one time where you get a lot of performance issues, or if the game is loading into a new zone. So as you can see here, we're hitting 58, 60s pretty damn easily. Now I have VSync artificially enabled from the AMD control panel, so I won't be going above 60. I'll also have the 1.2 patch notes linked in the description so you guys can have a read through, because there were quite a lot of class changes that happened. Berserkers actually became way more viable since their 75% movement reduction was actually removed. And there were quite a lot of other class changes as well. I think Mage's got a nerf also done. I think Ranger was buffed as well as Berserk. I think they're the only two that were buffed, and quite frankly they needed it in PvP anyway. So now a lot of the things work out much better. In terms of combat, what I noticed most in the game was the fact that you would usually be spamming the same skill 3 or 4 times for it to register, and now it doesn't seem to be the case. It seems to be more instant. It's the only way I can put it. Like, you don't need to press the button 3 or 4 times for it to actually work. So yeah, I'll definitely have the patch notes in the description, for the sole reason of like there being a shit ton of class specific changes that happened in 1.2. so yeah, lastly I want to talk about localization. As it stands, I don't see any issues with the localization in this game. I never have. It hasn't really affected me, to be frank. I remember at launch there were quite a lot of issues when it comes to just the game having like really horrible translations and stuff. Like when you'd level up, it would say you are now 3 level instead of like you are now level 3. So they've definitely improved in that sense. Every single patch note from launch has included some sort of localization in it, so that definitely helps the game out. And for me, I've looked around from all my skills and stuff, and you'll probably see here nothing is really out of place. In the recent patch, the 1.2 patch, they did actually change some of the names. Like Fire used to actually be called Launch, and it makes more sense now, right? Launch, I don't understand why they called it that to start off with. And now Rapid Fire was also called something else, I can't remember. And yeah, so localization wise, I have not really seen any major glaring issues in the game, nor have I come across any major bugs in the game either. So I think for the most part stuff has gone pretty damn well for me, surprisingly. I seem to be in the minority though. Now in terms of community, most of the toxicity has kind of left the subreddit, from what I've read. The only people that are on the Reddit and playing the game are the people who actually like the game itself, and that's frankly how it should be. The game's launch was kind of screwed, which, as you guys know, really screwed the population of the game. As it stands, it's kind of flatlined. They're sitting around 6k players active, and there is a planned server merge that's going to happen, a much needed server merge, might I add. It's really going to impact how filled a server feels. And in terms of PvP, they still haven't really done the one thing that I really want, and that is have no time limits to your instance PvP content. Like, why in the world are you limiting the time in which people can actually do PvP? For me, it never fits in. I've only gotten to do PvP I think twice, and from the times that I did it, the classes were really unbalanced, and I frankly cannot wake up at like 3 or 4 in the morning just to play one battleground. And yeah, so hopefully they do actually make the battlegrounds and arenas much more accessible to players by just making them available all of the time. I don't think there's going to be server issues regarding that. From what I've read, they don't really impact the servers as much as running the actual game does. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on PvP. And yeah, the community and the game itself are improving, though it is slow, but it is going to get to a better place. Alright, so that's going to be everything for the 1.2 patch. And yeah, hopefully I gave you guys some insight into the game and its current level of completion. And yeah, the next one will be on patch 1.3. Might have to play around a bit, so it might not be on the day that the patch actually drops, but 2 or 3 days afterwards. This is just how I want to kind of cover Bliss from now on. You know, just pop into the game every now and then, check it out, see what the changes are, and if I enjoy it, maybe I'll play it. But as it stands right now, there are a couple of things that I mentioned earlier that really just don't sit with me, like the PvP and the optimization, obviously. So until those things are fixed, the game's kind of going to be in the back burner. I will put out these patch videos, however, so hopefully for you guys that aren't really playing the game right now, guys will be kind of kept up to date with what's going on and how the game's progressed. So as it stands right now, I am playing WoW. I'm playing on a private server, so I'm going to make a video on that and, you know, just how the private server experience is and all that jazz. Hopefully get some of you guys to play some WoW, because honestly, it's quite a lot of fun. Much more fun than Bliss is, to be honest, for me anyway. The least I can do for Bliss is create these patch videos, because it is a game that I really enjoyed, at least in the Japanese client. I do want it to do well, and considering how my channel has grown around this game, it's the least I can do. So yeah, that's basically the end of the video. Like if you liked this video, dislike if you didn't like it, and as always, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon. Peace.